All right, I guess we can start with the introduction slowly, and maybe one more people will join us. So, welcome everybody. Thank you so much for being here. My name is Paula, and today we are having this webinar for the sustainability in the concrete sector and also for construction products. So we want to introduce you to the topic so that you can learn more about sustainability in the concrete sector. And we have the two experts in this field, Kai and Onur, and they can introduce themselves as well.
Hi everyone, my name is Kai and I'm at Kiwa since July 2024 and I'm specialized in Concrete Sustainability Council certification and also EPD creation. Nice to meet you all.
So hello everyone, Onur is here. I'm civil engineer, concrete technologist, and I'm verification expert by Kiva. And yeah, we're glad having you here.
All right, so I'll share my screen so that we can get started. Okay, do you all see it?
Yes, we can see.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. So again, welcome to the sustainability in the concrete sector. We are part of Kiwa and we are committed to a safer, more sustainable world. We are part of the sustainability team and we are all very motivated to make many sectors across the world more sustainable. Just to have a quick overview of our team, we have a deep knowledge in sustainability, standards, supply chains, and life cycle analysis. We cover many sectors like solar, batteries, construction, electrical devices, textiles, food, feed, and agriculture. And we have an international network, professionals from diverse cultural and academic backgrounds. And we have many languages within the team because we are an international team. Now, about Kiwa, we have three areas, which is sustainability metrics, circular economy, and sustainability due diligence. So sustainability metrics is about the calculation and verification of environmental, social impacts of products, organizations, or services. Example, carbon footprinting. Then we also have the verification and certification of systems to reuse, refurbish, or recycle products, and implementation of circular economy within sustainable frameworks. And then sustainability due diligence, which is the verification and certification of environmental and social impacts along the supply chain.
Thank you, Animona, for the introduction. And today we will start with what does sustainability means in the concrete sector, and then we will go deeper into regulatory and also market drivers. And after that, we will look at the specific challenges in the concrete sectors. And after that part, I will explain the CSC certifications, and my colleague Onur will explain to you about construction products EPDs. And after that, we will have the look at the relationship between CSC and also EPD. And at the end, we will have around 15 minutes of Q&A sessions. Next slide, please. So, concrete is the most widely used construction materials in the world. It is essential for infrastructures, housing, and even energy transitions. But at the same time, the context around concrete has changed dramatically. First of all, concrete production is closely linked to cement, which accounts for around 7 to 8% of the global CO2 emissions. Because of this, the sector is under increasing pressure from regulators, investors, and also from societies. So why now sustainability in the concrete sector is important? Today, regulations, procurement rules, and also investors, they are demanding for verified sustainability performance. In parallel, customers expect a transparent comparability and also credibility. Because of this, sustainability performance now directly affects market access, competitiveness, and also future viability. Now, customers don't just want sustainability claims anymore. They want verified, comparable, and also credible data. Next slide, please. And now we are going into regulatory and also market backgrounds of sustainability in the concrete sector. As you all know, starting in January 2026, under the revised construction product regulations, environmental performance now become part of the CE marking for concrete products. This means environmental information is no longer separates from product compliance, but it is integrated. Second, at the company level, the Corporate Sustainability Reporting Directive, CSRD, requires a large construction company to report their ESG metrics, including Scope 1 and Scope 2 and Scope 3 emissions, resources used, and also supply chain impacts. That means concrete producers are increasingly to ask to provide reliable data to their customer because it fits directly into CSRD reporting. And lastly, both public and private procurements are increasingly requesting proof of sustainability. Very often, one back, CSC certification during raw material acquisitions. For example, I have customers from CSC. They are asking for CSC because the projects requires them to have this during raw material acquisitions and also EPDs at the product level. In the next slides, I will show you the challenges that faced by concrete sector. First of all, as I mentioned before, there is high CO2 intensity, which is the main driver driven by cement productions, and cement is an essential component for concrete, but its productions required a lot of energy, and it cannot be eliminated in short term. This makes rapid decarbonization particularly challenging. Second, the concrete sector relies on really complex and often very local supply chain. Raw materials such as aggregates, cements, and also supplementary materials come from different sources and often limited transparency. This complexity makes consistent sustainability assessment and also data collection more difficult. And another major challenge is that data availability and data quality. Reliable sustainability management depends on accurate and comparable data, yet environment data, especially upstream data, can be incomplete, inconsistent, or not verified. At the same time, we must also balance sustainability with the product performances. Concrete must meet strict technical requirements for safety, durability, and also quality. Sustainability improvement cannot be compromised the structural performance or compliance with the standards. All of this happening under increasing regulatory market pressure, new regulations, reporting obligation, and also procurement requirements demand verified sustainability performance, often within a short implementation timelines. Last but not least, there are operational constraints. Concrete production operates usually under tight margins, limited flexibility in raw material substitutions, and also local logistical conditions. This constraint also make it difficult to implement the changes quickly or uniformly across sites. And in next slides, I'm going to tell you what is CSC certification and why does it matter. So the Concrete Sustainability Council certification is a voluntary certification system that evaluates sustainability across 4 pillars: environmental, social, economics, and also management aspects. It's cover the entire concrete supply chain, as you can see on the right sides. Aggregates, concrete, cements, and also ready-mix concrete precast elements, with the certification level from bronze, silver, gold to platinum. And there are also additional modules such as CO2 modules and also our module, which is for recycling concrete. Next slide, please. And in these slides, you can see the alignment of the CSC with the green building standards. CSC certifications creates transparency in supply chain and aligns directly with the green building schemes like LEED, BREEAM, DGNB, and many more green building certifications systems throughout different worlds. And at the product level, we see many different levels and declarations like EPDs and eco labels. And that's fit into building certification, but the weighting and requirements differ by region. And that's why evaluation schemes always depending on the markets and area and also certification goal. Next slide, please. And from a business perspective, CSC certification strengthen your market positions and supports public perceptions of concrete and also increasingly requested in procurement. And you can see in the table below how CSC certification can contribute points or a quality level to the green building certification. For example, with LEED, if you are certified with CSC, you get 1 point for social equity in the supply chain. And other than that, for BREEAM, if you have bronze label, you get 4 points for responsible sourcing, constructions, and silver, gold, and platinum, you get more points. And next slide, please. And at Kiwa, we support this with structured audit planning, practical guidance, and also auditors who understand both industry and sustainability. As January 2026, we have certified 296 sites in Germany, which give us strong practical experience. And for more information, you can visit our websites here below, or you can contact me directly to get more information about CSC certification. And now my colleague Uno is going to tell you more about our product level of concrete sectors with EPD.
Thank you very much. Hello again. So let's dive into one of the most famous topics in the sector lately, EPDs. First of all, what is an EPD and why we do that at all? An EPD communicates environmental impacts of a product across its entire life cycle. And this is an EPD is actually the official name is a Type 3 environmental declaration. So you can also mathematically imagine that there are also two other types of environmental declarations, Type 1 and Type 2, eco labels and self-declared environmental claims, which are not topic of this webinar at all. And these Type 3 environmental declarations, EPDs, are defined and governed by international standard ISO 14024. But before that, we have general framework, so to say, in order to create global consistency and methodological foundation, ISO 14040 and 14044. And afterwards comes this standard, ISO 14025. This is the framework for type 3 declarations for EPDs in general. It defines how an LCA must be transformed into an EPD. And for these EPDs, we also have EN 15804. This is our core product category rules, PCR, for construction products. There might be also complementary PCRs for specific products, for instance, cement. It was, I guess, 16908. And we also have, as regulation, construction products regulations, CPR. This is Bauproduktenverordnung in Germany. And next slide, please. So here we have some images. The first one is, of course, the very first page of an EPD from Kiva. My favorite material is on the first page is concrete, I guess. And the second image is how your results seem at the end, and this is the interpretation part, which is mainly how you interpret your results, which kind of raw material has which kind of effect at the end of the day, and why you have such a graphic, and also your mandatory environmental impacts in the very last small picture. So we go through the next page. Yes, thank you. If we start with an EPD, on the left-hand side, you see your flow chart, so to say. This defines your system boundaries. Not defines, but you already define that. It shows your system boundaries, and underneath you mark the modules you declared or which not declared, in order to communicate that transparently. So environmental product declarations provide transparent environmental data. This is the main idea of an EPD. You communicate your results, your environmental impacts in a transparent way, in a comparable way, and in accountable way. This is the main idea why we do this ourselves, so to say. And EPDs are used widely in green building certifications, and they enable whole building life cycle analysis, because the logic is similar to modularity of EPDs. You need to have the environmental impacts of particular construction materials in order to create a bigger scale, so to say, on a building level analysis. So you start from small parts of the system in order to have a bigger one. And when it comes to its content, of course, you can think an EPD just like a university semi academical work for the semester, so to say. You describe your product, what are you handling with, and then you have your declared or functional unit, depending on the material type or product type, and you define your system boundaries, where it starts and where it ends. And depending on that, you have your LCA results, life cycle analysis, and you get in the end environmental impact indicators, which are the main part of an EPD, so to say. This also includes resource use and waste flows. At the end, very important part is, of course, verification statement, because this is the main idea of that. Because if you don't have a verification, you cannot say that it is performed objectively and reliable and transparent. That's why you let it verify from an independent or third-party verifier. So these are our mandatory modules, so to say, in order to declare. Of course, there are some kind of exceptions. For instance, aggregates, if you cannot distinguish at the end of life from the main material, so you don't have to declare C to D. Or you have cement, it is semi-finished product. It's pretty much the same. You cannot distinguish that from the end product, from the concrete in the end of life scenario. Yeah, this is, I guess, very very classic sentence. We are the bad guys, so to say. Construction sector is one of the largest global contributors to environmental impacts, especially when it comes to embodied carbon and resource consumption. embodied carbon, maybe it would be helpful to talk about it a little bit. It is the emissions you create even before the using stage of a building, for instance. So concrete, any construction work before the using stage, it is embodied carbon. We can summarize that very briefly. It is not completely correct, but we can imagine that like this. And since we are the bad guys, we need to control our environmental impact, so to say. But in order to control any outcome, we have to be able to define what the source is, so to say, and then we should be able to measure that. It can be measuring, it can be methodological calculation, but at the end, you need to analyze your results, improve, and then start over. So that's why this is the main idea of an EPD. You always analyze, improve, and start over. Analyze, improve, and start over. So an EPD supports you, or the people who decide, so to say, architects or organizational bodies or environmental bodies, state bodies, support them sustainable material selection. If you have a basis for comparability, you can choose, so to say, the better one for that circumstances. There's also another plus side in this at this topic. It is we see that more oftenly, so to say, in many public tenders and certification systems. It is also promoted, so to say. As we already mentioned, the main important point is transparency, and this transparency is provided by third-party authentication. It is objective, it is third-party, and it is credible, so to say. It is not based on marketing statements. It isn't based on greenwashing and so on. That's why you need to verify your results. This is just like banking, for instance. You go somewhere else and no one knows you in that new city, and somebody says, bank, yes, this person is reliable. We know that. We know him or her. We can give the money. So this is what EPD in general does. So say someone says that, yeah, these results are reliable, we can trust because it's objective. It was made objectively. Yeah. Therefore, we have standardized formats which are provided by the regulations I counted just in the beginning of the presentation, and afterwards registration with a recognized program operator, for instance, Kiva. So how do you benefit? First and foremost, demonstrate environmental responsibility. You can say that, yeah, we had results a couple of years ago and we improved that. This is the this is our proof of that. And since in general the EPDs are valid for 5 years, you need to improve, you need to change something, because it is the main idea of an EPD, so to say. If you have these results, very human reaction, some other competitor would like to have that as well, because it enables benchmarking and product optimization. It promotes each other, so to say. And in the very same sense, it strengthens market competitiveness. So why is this webinar necessary in the very first place? Because, as you may also know, there are too many players in the market, and we are just one of them, and therefore there are a wide choice of LCA softwares and program operators and so on. If you have a wide choice in an area, even if some important points are strictly regulated, you need to find a common language, so to say, in order to unify the results and how they should seem. The very first part of is EPD creation. It starts with collecting data, of course. In the very first sense, it starts with your decision, and then your data collection, and then you create your EPD. After you create that, according to the regulation, you need to get it verified. So you need to have a program operator and a verifier on your side. This is the two important columns of the EPD creation and verification, so to say. Yeah, in order to do that, you would, of course, you would like to, of course, have a software on your side as well. Here, we can talk about very briefly about Rethink, which enables LCA, EPDA, CCF for manufacturers, so to say. In this is available in many countries, so to say. So you have different template options. You are not limited with some limited number of templates. Let me put it like this very briefly. And this is also integrated third-party verification, which means that our verifier pool is also connected to Rethink, so which enables a really fast verification process. If you'd like to, if you're a huge fan of Microsoft products, you have Excel interfaces for efficient calculation upload and of course download. And you can also see real-time results on environmental impacts. If you change anything, there's an interface for that, and you can see that graphically, so to say. And these are the standards we already counted in the very beginning. It is just a framework of EPD, the guidelines of EPD, PCR, PCF, and so on. So thank you very much.
Thank you for Onur on explaining about EPD in concrete sector. And now I'm going to explain you how CSC and EPD work together. As you can see in the table in the middle, CSC certification and EPDs, they have same objective, but they work at different level. CSC certification shows that a company and its supply chain operate responsibly. Shortly, CSC shows how responsible you operate. On the other side, EPD provide quantified, comparable environmental data for individual products, which means EPD shows the quantified environmental impacts of what you produce. And at Kiwa, we support both CSC certifications, EPD verification, and EPD creations. So you can build a consistent sustainability strategies instead of isolated activities. When you combine both of them, they create full transparency from raw material sourcing to product level environmental performances. This combination supports regulatory compliances, procurement, green building certifications, and also corporate sustainability reporting. Next slide, please. And to conclude, sustainability in concrete sector is not longer future ambitions. It's a current market and regulatory requirement. Concrete, as mentioned before, remains as essentials for infrastructures, housing, and also energy transitions, but they face a lot of pressures to reduce emissions and also improve transparencies. CSC certifications addresses sustainability at the company and also supply chain level. It demonstrates a responsible sourcing management system and also credible governance. On the other side, EPD provides quantified, verified environmental data at product level, which is essential for procurements, building LCAs, and also sustainability reporting. When they are used together, they really create a full sustainability transparency. And the key takeaway here is verified data and transparency is essential to future proof of the concrete industry. And sustainability is no longer options, but is a business requirement. Now I'm gonna hand the presentation to Animona.
Yeah, so to add on that, we would like to present the construction product regulation for the ones that don't know. The construction product regulation is an EU law that sets the rules for how construction products are replaced on the EU market. And at its core, it's about making construction's product comparable, safe, and reliable across Europe. And it enables the EU a single market for construction products. It supports safe buildings and increasingly drives low carbon and circular construction. So it creates hard regulatory pressure for better environmental data. And starting from this year, the digital product passport system is established. So overall at Kiwa, we also support you, as Onur previously showed, EPDs for construction products, but we connect them also with the CPR to give you a CPR readiness check for the EPD process, also verification and validation for CPR 3+ validation, digital product passport, and the software we think that has integrated their standards for construction products. Overall, we would like to highlight that Kiwa has services across many industries, as you can see here. And in the upcoming webinars, we will introduce other topics like the corporate carbon footprint, product environmental footprint, food fit farm, and more topics like ESG standards that we have that are required for having a sustainable future. So thank you much for your attention. And if you have any questions, please write them in the chat and we will answer them. All right, I guess there are no more questions. Okay, then I will say we can end the session for now. Thank you very much for participating. Thank you very much, Onur and Kai, also for having this webinar. And please contact us if you have further questions. Bye-bye.